Welcome to Entry Point Church virtual service online, on YouTube, on Facebook. Today, our service focuses on the negative aspects of labeling people with guest speaker Julie Dabney. We're glad that you've joined us today.
Sometimes you cry, I get it wrong. My own beliefs are in my soul. The picture, the thinker, the drama, and then makes no difference what you find
Please join me in prayer. God of all gifts, giver of grace, creator of the universe, thank you for creating each one of us different and giving us the freedom to make our own choices. Please help us accept each other, removing the labels that separate us, pushing us apart. We need guidance. Why does something so simple seem so hard to do? Why is hate so visible in our world today? We are confused. God, these are the times we are awakened to your presence, knowing we can change our view anytime. We have the power. Give us courage to stand up for ourselves and others when faced with difficult situations. We know peace. Teach us to love with an open heart and spirit, guiding us through darkness into light. God, allow judgment to be lifted, walking humbly in your grace. Guide us, show us, use us, unite us. Change our hearts. Amen.
I am here with Julie Dabney. Julie and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about an article that she had read about labels. So Julie, tell us a little bit about this article, what it meant to you, and why you felt like this would be a great topic for a church service.
So now I'm, having a hard time remembering exactly. It was Jody who had the service some months ago, and her service really moved me and had me thinking about the idea of how we, as all people, label people and how that might impact them negatively. And from my own experience of having a few labels on myself, so that, I'm going to kind of look at this article, but it starts out, we are all humans. 10 labels we need to stop using to describe people. So the first one in this article is called illegal immigrant. No human being is illegal. Americans are descendants of immigrants. Number 2 is slut. We need to stop calling women sluts, plain and simple. Number 3, retard. Retard should never be used to describe someone with Down syndrome or any intellectual disability for that matter. Socialist. If you do not understand the distinction between fascism, communism, and socialism, don't use any of these words to describe people. So number 5 is tranny. Tranny is a derogatory term and it's disrespectful. Transgender people deserve the same amount of respect as anyone else. Number 6, crazy. Calling someone crazy implies that this person is mentally unstable, which is obviously related to mental illness. Mental illness is a very real thing impacting millions of people across the world. It is not a joke, and it is certainly not something that should be trivialized. Number 7, plus size model. We don't call smaller models regular size models. Who cares what a person's body size is, and why do we have to label it? Number 8, homo. People are not defined by their sexuality. They are so much more than that. Number 9, addict, alcoholic. An addiction is an illness. It is not something that should be used to describe someone. If people want to identify with their addictions in order to overcome them, that is their choice. And here's the humdinger of that it was David Letterman's top 10 list, Republican, Democratic. The United States is exceptionally polarized when it comes to politics at the moment. We are more than just Republicans and Democrats. We are humans. We are Americans.
Julie, under the section where you were talking about not using alcoholic or addict as a label, I wonder if you would mind elaborating a little bit about how labels actually limit your future.
So, I want to share with all of you, I have had my own struggle with addiction and alcoholism, and I'm in recovery. And because of my struggle with alcoholism and addiction, it has caused me to have some legal consequences that have caused me to have, some of those labels, that have impacted me in a negative way. And that's what really sparked me to be passionate about this subject, because I realized that in a stereotypical, world, that I had an image of what I, would think an alcoholic or an addict would look like. And I didn't necessarily meet that criteria. And what I have found is when I've shared my experience with others and, shared my issues with, getting in legal trouble, basically, that even law enforcement I didn't meet that criteria. And I realized as a, white female who's 51 years old, I'm not the person that you think of as being, a felon or an alcoholic or an addict. And then based on my profession as being a nurse, that is not the image that we think of as we're thinking of what a nurse is. And so I really wanted to shed light, on the idea that it is not something that discriminates, and it can affect anyone, any color, any race, any religion, any nationality. And instead of us trying to, not be open and understanding of each other, to be more embracing and loving, and realizing that when we do label each other and it kind of boxes us in and doesn't give us the opportunity, as the article shares about growth and opportunity, because it causes you to feel shameful and bad based on maybe a decision that was made under the influence that you wouldn't have done if you were in your right mind. And I want to share that because what I've realized, what I've gone through, there's something that is said in Alcoholics Anonymous that says, we see how our experience can benefit others. And one of the things that I've realized is that, I wondered often, why have I gone through all this? And now I've realized is that I need to share my story with others to give them hope. And it's just to see how my experience can benefit others.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Julie, for sharing so honestly and so openly. I hope that you feel like you have made a difference in this world. And I know that your journey has been difficult, but this is kind of a nice moment that you are sharing a story and hoping to help someone else and change someone else's life. And most importantly, to give that person hope. So thank you for sharing today. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
It's so easy to place people in boxes, drawing lines, creating sides. There's us, and there's them. Those we feel comfortable around, and those we don't. There are those of us with many chapters, and those just starting their own stories. There's the well-to-do, and those doing what they can. There are those we share something with, and those we don't seem to share anything with.
Welcome, and thank you for coming today, guys. Today I'm going to be conducting an experiment where I'll ask you a series of questions. Now, these questions will be very personal questions, and for us to get a true result, I need you to be completely honest with how you respond. The first question I have is, who in here was the class clown? Who is never on time?
And then there's us. We who have tattoos. We who feel lonely. We who have been bullied. We who have bullied others. We who are madly in love. We who have overcome great adversity. And there's the lucky ones, whose team won the championship this year. And then, there's all of us, who are created in the image of God.
Thank you for joining our service today. We hope that you found something to give you comfort, encouragement, and inspiration. Join us next week for a live, in-person, very safe gathering of our faith community at Connor Prairie. The service will focus on the challenges we are now facing in our upside-down world. Please join us. In the meantime, have a great week. Do your very best to keep your head held high, to keep your chin up, and go in peace. Amen.